Hey nerds, this is a talking points video, so that means there's not going to be much doing in the video, just a lot of talking, so I hope you guys will listen to my point and see what you say in the comments, just to, have a general discussion about things. We've talked about all sorts of things before, from dagger users to healers to things like this, but today's topic is something kind of seat of my pants type of deal, because I saw a comment and I was just kind of inspired by it. Mostly because, well, Ninian's won this, and she won it by a fair bit, honestly. From a character that's from Fire Emblem 7, typically, games that are from the older generations typically don't win these banners, especially from things like that. And when I saw this comment, I honestly kind of agreed. So this is Judo John 2216. I don't know if he's 2216, but still, as you can see, I actually had to dig up his comment by highlighting Choose Your Legends there. It was really difficult to find, but basically he says it's kind of amazing she won. This was from a topic that we were discussing, that we were kind of amazed that she won and that she was holding such a steady lead for quite some time. She was doing really well, but there was the back and forth, obviously. There were fans on both sides. And as you can see, they mentioned the Choose Your Legends popularity poll before Heroes launched, and we'll get into that in a second. And that they didn't really think that Ninian had any chance beating Corrin in something like this before her inclusion as a unit in Heroes. And yes, that's something I think we need to talk about, because honestly, if we were to go off, say, an actual popularity contest like this, which technically exists in this game, in the form of, well, the voting gauntlet, by some stretch, I don't think Ninian would have won if it weren't for the fact that people have gotten to, know her, become accustomed to her, learn about her from Heroes, and, well, that speaks volumes, because I'm just going to show you the results of the Choose Your Legends things, and we're going to compare their rankings real quick, okay? So, with Choose Your Legends, of course, that was, a popularity poll to see which, 3 units, blah-de-blah-de-blah, or first 2 male and female units got up there. For those who don't remember, that gave us Brave Lyn and all those other brave characters. But, here is where female Corrin laid down into the rankings at 5. She got the 5th spot, guys. She was pretty popular, considering. A lot of the characters in the upper echelons are typically Fates characters or Awakening characters, because those are the games that really introduced a lot of the more, the newer fans to the game, obviously. So, naturally, we've been seeing that in the game with voting gauntlets. A lot of them have been won by Fates, characters from Fates, and things like that, so it was really no shocker, or it would really be no shocker if Ninian lost. Just to give you an example, here is Ninian in that same poll. As you can see, she is down at number 100. She's the 100th character in the Choose Your Legends poll. She's ironically right under female Kana. Technically Corrin's child, I guess. I forget if it's like, what gender you end up with. I think it was the opposite, so still, nonetheless, Ninian obviously was not on everyone's radar at the time. And you can kind of tell that there was a bit of a, gap to bridge. But I feel Heroes does a good, well, at least a good job at bringing us characters that we haven't seen before, making them useful, making us love them, and making us, enjoy what they are. And Ninian's quickly become that character for a lot of people. I mean, as you can see, she's actually in my party right now, and she's definitely one of the more useful characters that I like using myself, because, well, I like her as a character, and while I haven't played the Fire Emblem that she's in, I just enjoy her. I like how useful she is. I like how, adorable, I guess you can say, she is, and I do enjoy the fact that she is a pretty powerful and interesting character. And it's thanks to Heroes that it's kind of adopted this. It's kind of brought it in. Now, as gauntlets continue on, and while I don't find them as fascinating, because, well, there's a lot of, things to be thrown up into the, air when it comes down to gauntlets nowadays, I do think it's a good outlier to basically show you that, Ninian won this. Ninian won the, this whole Gauntlet, and she was winning steadily for a lot of units. You know, once that first round went through, it became a clean sweep for, you know, both Corrin and Ninian. And the fact that she managed to not only sustain such a great lead was something that was quite impressive. And something that really speaks volumes to that, because I agree with that comment. If this was the Gauntlet, like, let's say they had a Gauntlet on release day that was this, it would have been completely different. Because I'm fairly sure female Corrin and even male Corrin would have wiped the floors with a lot of the units that were featured in this. And that says a lot. And the fact that even Faye, even though she's still kind of obscure, still managed to, you know, kind of maintain her point value, says a bit, but, you know, obviously not as much as Ninian because of, well, her usefulness, her abilities that she has, and how powerful they are. And, you know, I say this a lot when it comes to, you know, Fire Emblem, is that there's always that divide. There's always people who hate Fate's characters because they just don't like Fate's, or they don't like, you know, other, I wouldn't say other characters, but, like, they just don't like the newer iterations, newer games in the series, because they feel like it's, you know, different. But then there's the characters who, you know, the people who like the characters from the newer games because that's what they've experienced. And I feel Heroes does a good job at bringing those characters from the past forward. And who knows, maybe we'll get, you know, they're really putting a lot of tension into, you know, good old, I can't say his name because apparently YouTube sees it as me saying a certain word, and anyways, the new genealogy banner really does mean maybe that we might even see, like, you know, remakes of those previous games. I mean, Shadows of Valentia came out, and that would probably be, you know, one of my favorite games in the series because of the characterization, the story, things like that. Granted, they may have to remove several contexts from the genealogy ones if they do that. I've read a lot about them. I know there's a lot of nasty stuff in that, but still, you know, looking at this, looking at the past, it's really quite amazing, and I think you guys can agree with that, right? It's just surprising to me. I hope this talking points, you know, puts that point, you know, into perspective, because, yeah, you know, 5th place, 100th place. And now, here we are. Ninian's ahead, Corrin is not. That's just kind of surprising. Alrighty, well, I'm going to call this video for now, and that was just a small talking points video for you guys to, well, take a look at, and I hope you know, can discuss this with me a little bit. So, anyways, for now, though, see you soon.